What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you another duel between me on Dragonmaid and my opponent on Swordsoul. I am currently at about 440 rating, and he is at 546 rating. I don't play a lot of dueling books, so these numbers, they're pretty okay to me. I play almost no dueling books, so that's why the number is how it is. And yeah, I just want to do another game because a lot of people ask me how to play Dragonmaids, and they'll like go, where's the nearest combo video or things like that. But I actually think these duels are just like one of the best ways to show how I actually play Dragonmaids. So I like to be able to give my thought process in these games. It's one of the reasons I love doing like these dueling book games so much. They're like really easy for me to do, and they're fun to edit, and I think a lot of my thought process can go forward in these games, and this one's a pretty good game, I think. So we are gonna just go ahead and jump straight into it. I do win the rock paper scissors, obviously a very good thing to do in Yu-Gi-Oh. We're gonna go ahead and take first. Dragonmaid, a deck that definitely wants to go first here. We see the opening hands. I opened Chamber, Super Poly, Phantasme, Super Poly, and Parlor, and our opponent opened up Vessel, Ash Blossom, Nibiru, Chalice, and Desire. So opening the one of Desire is very good for him. He didn't open with a play, however he does have the Desires and a draw, and he opened 3 Go Second cards, so I said that's good for him. And of course, you look at my hand, and 1 Ash Blossom is very detrimental to this hand. We drew no extenders, so how I play through this is, you know, if we can even play through this, it's going to be hard. It's a hard road here. So we're going to go ahead and almost summon the Parlor. Opponent thinking if they want to respond. He does respond with the Ash Blossom. I simply set a Super Poly, and I pass. So definitely not the strongest board for us. At this point, I'm sort of hoping he's on a deck that Phantasme is really good against, or that Super Poly is really good against. So he's opening up with the Desires. Banishing 10 here. Must be nice. Opening Desires. Very powerful card. He's going to go ahead and draw 2 into a second Nibiru, which of course isn't very good versus Dragonmaid, and an Ecclesia, which is at least, at the very bare minimum, it's a play. So he's going to special summon the Ecclesia. Going to go ahead and activate the effect, which is going to allow him to get a worm from his deck, which is going to be probably Mo Yi. Of course it is. Mo Yi is going to activate here, and at this point I'm kind of worried, right? Because Swordsoul don't really play into Super Poly often, and they don't play into Phantasme unless they're going for Halki Fibrack stuff. So at this point, my weak opening, it just seems like demise at this point. Like, it's going to be very tough to win this game for sure, because our cards just aren't very good against what he is doing in his deck currently. So he's going to make the Chi-Shao, and of course go Chainlink 1 Chi-Shao, Chainlink 2 Mo Yi, drawing Emergence. So now his hand went from like a really good go second hand with no plays to so many plays, and the Swordsoul deck definitely showing what it can do here. Of course, he is on the Halki Fibrax version of Swordsoul, which is pretty much almost the only version of Swordsoul at this point. No one really plays, you know, super pure without the Halki Fibrax stuff, but he's going to go ahead and activate Long Yun, pitching the Tai Yi, special summoning the token. Going to go ahead and activate Vessel, dumping Vishuda. Now, this is a really interesting point. He has a token on field, which means he could use Vishuda to bounce my back row, but he obviously, I think here, wants to save his Vishuda for a follow-up turn, because he's assuming, you know, my turn was Parlor, set 1 pass. It could be a tidying at most, right? And I guess he doesn't want to Vishuda back a tidying because I can just chain it. So he must be reading tidying here, in which there's no point to Vishuda bounce because he's just going to make Baron, right? So I guess he wants to save the Vishuda for a later time, and of course we do not have a tidying face down, so we have a Super Poly. So that's going to work out nicely for us. He's going to activate Baron's effect, targeting Parlor, and we're going to chain Super Poly. So this is one of the only instances where this card's actually going to come up for us, and that is discarding the other Super Poly, sending Parlor and his Baron to make Mud Dragon. They are both wind with different types, so this works. Opponent's going to set Chalice, set the Blackout, and swing at the Mud Dragon. So now what we're looking at is he has a couple of back row. We have a Chamber and a Phantasme, so we're potentially still in this game. We're going to draw Hospitality, which is an amazing draw. It's probably what Chamber was going to search anyways if we didn't just draw it right there. But now this means Chamber can search something else, and this Hospitality can be used to bait stuff. So we're going to activate the Hospitality. He says it's good. We're going to special Parlor and dump the Lorpar. Hospitality being so good as a Monster Reborn and a Foolish Burial. Then we're going to attempt to activate the Parlor, to which it gets Chaliced. Of course, our opponent does have a lot of interrupts here. Nothing we can do about that. Going to go ahead and normal summon the Chamber, use her effect, to which he uses Chi-Shao, which banishes a Long Yun to negate. So both of our effects were negated here. I ask for res because, of course, one of the back row we know he has is the Blackout. So Want to make sure he's not going to pop us there, which is great for us that he chooses not to, because it lets us get our seals. Of course, he didn't feel like he was in a position where losing his Yugioh there to pop my Dragon Maids was going to do anything, so he does decide it's better to keep his Yugioh here. Draw phase, he's going to go ahead and activate the Yugioh to try to negate my seals. I really want the follow-up off of this card, so I'm going to go ahead and bounce with seals. Going to go ahead and bounce his Yugioh, and of course we are going to get to special summon from the deck here. And we are going to choose to special summon Nurse. Of course, this is one of your #1 targets off of seals. Nurse effect, going to go ahead and special summon the, I'm going to target the Chamber effect to search. So now we're in a position, of course, where we've bounced all his boss monsters. We know he has a blackout there, which currently isn't usable. Chamber is searching follow-up, and, you know, we're still in this game here. Despite the really rough opening, we're still in this. Our opponent's going to special summon Vishuda. We have to keep in mind he still has Vishuda in grave at this point as well. Gonna summon the Vishuda, link into the Monk, which of course has now turned on our Phantasme, which I've been waiting to use this card. I was thinking it was just gonna end up being used as Yugioh material, but being able to drop the Phantasme is great here. We're gonna see Prosperity and Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is super important here because we know the Swordsoul deck is probably on Hauki Fibrak, so if he decides to go that route, the Veiler we just drew is absolutely pivotal to, you know, trying to stay in this game, because if he's able to go Hauk combo, we are in a bad position. So he's gonna special summon the Adhara. Link those off, make the Hauki Fibrax, of course, the card we just drew the Effect Veiler for. Phantasme showing what a powerful card he really is. I just uploaded a video talking about how good I think Phantasme is and how every deck, almost except for Wanderies, is linking right now, and Phantasme makes your hand traps so much better in your deck. So we did just negate the Hauki Fibrax, and our opponent's going to scoop here, so he has the 2 Nibiru in his hand. He knows it's not good versus Dragonmaid. He's got a dead blackout, a Hauki Fibrax. We have a load of follow-up. Yeah, this game is pretty much over. I think this isn't a reasonable scoop. There's almost no way he comes back from this. There's no top deck good enough to come back from this in his deck. So I can see the scoop there. Sometimes people scoop too early, but that one does make sense. We're going to go ahead and side, and I, of course, am siding for go second because I think he's going to go first, and he actually chooses to make me go first. So hoping I draw a bunch of dead go second cards, and he draws, of course, Lightning Storm there. Starting hands, we have Ogre, Lorpar, Prosperity, Called by the Grave, Chamber. Very good opening hand. I mean, we saw Starter, Called by, Prosperity, a Big Dragon, a Hand Trap. Very good. He's going to draw the Ashina, Emergence, Lightning Storm, Ecclesia, and Hadhara. His hand is gas. I mean, this hand is phenomenal. He's got extenders for days without using a normal summon into almost all of his plays. He's got Lightning Storm, so this is going to be a good game. I'm going to start off with a Prosperity, presumably for 3. Yeah, 3. We're going to reveal a Hospitality, a Noctovision, and a Tidying. All pretty good cards, I must say. I'm going to choose to grab the Tidying. It has been a couple days since I recorded this game, so not really 100% sure what I was going to grab there. I did rewatch this back, but remembering that I picked up the Tidying. We're going to normal summon the Chamber, and he has no response. Of course, we see he has no interruptions in his hand currently. Going to add the Hospitality. Link off the Chamber into our bridge link in the extra deck being Striker Dragon, which allows us to use the Hospitality to special back the Chamber, which is going to allow us to make seals. So seals, obviously the main play of Dragonmaid, is exactly where we want to be right now. Set Tidying, set Called by. This opening is great for Dragonmaid. Of course, it's not like the ceiling. We didn't end with Yugioh, which would have been amazing here if we could end with Yugioh, so unfortunate that we didn't, but that is the way it crumbles. I think there was a chance we grab like the Noctovision and still somehow make what we want to. No, I think we weren't able to get Sphere Yugioh in this hand, but we are going to set Tidying and Called by, which are amazing cards, but of course, our opponent does have Lightning Storm, and that is going to be fired off very quickly here. He calls back row, which I think is actually the best case scenario for us. Honestly, I think hitting the spheres against Dragonmaid is definitely the way to go, in my opinion, because it turns off the Tidying as well, and I don't get the follow-up off seals. So I think he got a little greedy going for the back row, but the back row was Called by the Grave, so it's not like he loses out entirely. And if he does hit the seals, he can't special Ecclesia, so I do see definitely hitting the back row there. He's going to special Adhara, go for the Emergence, get the Long Yun. Of course, he has nothing but worms in his hand, essentially, so it's looking very good for him. Long Yun's effect, pitch Ashina, special the Long Yun, get a token. And then I'm going to think on the summon of the token because I don't want him making Baron. That would just be very bad here. So we are going to bounce the token, which stops him from using his Ashina. Currently, he could make a monk and use it anyways, but we're going to bounce the token so he can't synchro for Baron here, of course. He is able to go Halki Fibrax here if he would like to. I'm going to special summon the Nurse. And another reason I bounced the token is because I have a Ghost Ogre in hand, so I know he can make Halki Fibrax here, but we do have the out in Ghost Ogre, so I feel pretty confident there. Anyways, Nurse effect is going to grab back the Chamber. Chamber effect going to go ahead and add the Hospitality from our deck to our hand, a very standard play. It's one of like your best forms of follow-up, so we're going for that. He is going for the Halki Fibrax, to which we are going to chain the Ghost Ogre, because this is just going to leave him. He can't go for 001 if he's playing it in his deck, still going second, because it's going to do nothing. So he is forced to go into Adhara. I don't even know if he's on the 001 stuff. It could just be trying to get a tuner. But you would assume he's on 001 and Auroradon here. So he's going to go Monk and then Special Ecclesia because I do control more monsters than him. Maybe that was a downside in special summoning the Nurse. But Nurse just gives us the most follow-up here, so that's why I wanted to do it. I'm going to go ahead and activate the Ecclesia, bring out the Tai Yi effect, and at this point, Swordsoul has been comboing for so long now. Tai Yi summon token, we have no more interrupts, make Chi Shao, Tai Yi Chain Link 2. Gonna go ahead and dump the Vishuda, which is a very powerful card here. I mean, you wouldn't want to bounce any of these to my hand, but it's great for later. Add the Blackout, gonna go ahead and banish Adhara to add back Long Yun. And he has done all this without normal summoning, so he's played through a lot of cards without normal summoning. Normal summon the Mo Yi effect. Gonna go ahead and reveal the Long Yun he just added, so he has so much here, but we're not out of this game because we do have Lorepar and we do have Hospitality. Two very good cards. I mean, Lorepar can bait an interruption and Hospitality can be plays. So he's going to summon the Draco Berserker. Mo Yi effect to draw a card. And he's going to draw an Ashina and set the Blackout. Go battle phase. Going to go ahead and swing Berserker into the Nurse. Activate his effect. Swing into Chamber here. Attack for 38 direct. Obviously, we're not running Gorse, so that's just going to go through. And then he is going to pass. I think he's in a great position here. We need a really good top deck. Tidying is not the best top deck here. I mean, it's a great card. But in the situation where we need plays to break his board, of course, Tidying isn't the most amazing card. Gonna go ahead and start my play with a big think. We're gonna go ahead and activate the Lorepar to hit the Draco Berserker. And he is going to banish it. Now, I was a little confused here for a second because there is a ruling where things that banish sort of like this, like Mechaba, for example, if your opponent discards Ash and Mechaba negates, it doesn't get banished because the card isn't where it was where it activated, or there's a ruling like that with Mechaba. And I was thinking for a second that Berserker would follow the same thing, but I wasn't quite sure, so I didn't bring it up. Asking for a judge on Dueling Book just isn't it. That's just not it. You don't ask for a judge on Dueling Book, it's going to take way too long. But yeah, if you do know, you can leave it down in the comments below. That'd be pretty cool, or I might go ask a judge very shortly after this. Gonna go ahead and Hospitality, dump the Ernest. Nurse effect. Gonna go ahead and special summon back the Chamber. Losing a Lorepar definitely does stink though, because I wanted more big dragons so I can actually make plays. Chamber effect, gonna go ahead and add the changeover. I mean, we've used Hospitality, and of course there is a Tidying in our hand, so we can only add the changeover, but I think it was our best target anyways. He is going to Blackout there, popping his Monk, popping our monsters, so things are looking pretty abysmal for us, but we do have a Tidying to activate. Tidying is going to special back the Chamber. Gonna go into the battle phase here, bounce back the Chamber to special summon the Ernest, which does give us the materials to make Sheo here in main phase 2. Gonna go ahead and make Sheo because it is our best play. We have a Tidying which can bounce the Berserker back, so that's really nice. We're gonna set the Tidying and we're gonna pass. So we've established, some sort of board in the face of, defeat. He is gonna try to go main phase, which means I have, time to activate my effect in standby phase, so he says too late. That's just not how it works. Both players must agree to go main phase 1. This man's just straight up went standby phase for like 3 seconds, went main phase, and then tried to say my Sheo's too late. No, as turn player, he gets his chance to activate all his effects first in standby phase, unless I have a quick effect, which can, after he makes his first action in standby, I can then activate a quick effect. But no, both players must agree to go into main phase. It's not just too late because I didn't respond in his 3-second time frame. So we're going to go back, and he's very confused in chat here. Very, very interesting. But yeah, Sheo is going to activate her effect to which he's going to try to negate with Yugioh. I am going to chain Xiao to negate. He is going to banish with Draco Berserker. And then the whole chain is going to resolve. We're going to get our Nurse back. Nurse effect. And we've cleared his board. We've cleared his board with one Xiao because he sort of did it wrong. He should have used his Yugioh in draw phase. But a lot of people, you know, they're not ready for how Xiao actually works half the time. We're going to activate the Chamber effect to a special summoned off the Nurse. I actually have no target, so we're not going to do that. I've used 2 Hospitality, and I believe I sided out a Tidying because I thought I was going second. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and pitch the Ashina for Longyan. I am going to bounce the, I believe the Draco Berserker, yeah, because that thing is just an OTK monster at this point. Bounce back my Nurse, bounce back his Berserker. He is going to go ahead and make Baron, which is game because Longyan's going to burn for 12, putting me at 3,000. Baron effect, pop Chamber, swing for game. So that is going to wrap it up here, and we are going to go into game 3. All right, so for game 3 here, you know, he did just make me go first, and I was looking at my go first side, which I was like, we don't have a lot of stuff for Swordsoul, so we decide to run it back and make him go first when he thinks he's going second. Of course, he doesn't really draw any go second cards, like hard go second cards. He only draws Chalice, but we sided in some go second hate. So the hands are Nibiru, Noctovision, Pankratops, Twin Twisters, Dragon or Kitchen. His hand is phenomenal. We have Play, we have Extender, we have Pankratops, Twin Twister, Nibiru. So I'm feeling pretty, I'm sitting pretty right now. He has Vishuda, Mo Yi, Ashina, Tai Yi, and Chalice. So his hand, you know, no slouch at all. If we had Token Collector, he even has the Chalice out to it. So yeah, he has a great hand as well, but it doesn't play that great into Nibiru for sure. He's going to go ahead and special the Ashina. And yeah, Ashina obviously a good start here. Going to link the Ashina into Monk. Then he's going to special the Vishuda, which is summon 3. Summon Vishuda, normal summon Mo Yi effect, reveal Tai Yi in hand, special summon token. And yeah, at that point, that's summon 5, and he just has, for sure, no way of playing around this. I don't know if going for his Tenyi stuff first was the correct play. There's definitely a world where, I mean, I guess he can't play around Nibiru that great, but I feel like getting to summon 5 on the token is really weird. Like, I feel like maybe you don't go into your Tenyi plays first. Maybe try to go regular Swordsoul route and then special the Tenyis while you have the Nibiru token if you're playing around Nibiru. I don't know. I'm not a Swordsoul player, so I don't really know off the top of my head what the better play was. Maybe he's thinking after he gets Nibiru'd, it's, you know, he has a bunch of Tenyis in grave he can use, but I, of course, am going to Nibiru here because the opportunity is just too golden. And yeah, I mean, my hand is at the point where even if he can play past Nibiru, I'm feeling pretty confident here. So he is going to summon his token because it's just cooler than mine, which, you know, fair enough. I agree. He's thinking here, and he's going to activate the Ashina to special summon the Adhara from deck, I'm assuming. Yep, which will allow him to go into Halki Fibrax. He actually decides to go Monk, though. Is there a reason he doesn't go Halki Fibrax? Maybe he doesn't have the 001 in his deck because he thought he was going second, and I think that makes some sense. So he would have specialed like a Tenyi and it wouldn't do anything, or like an Ogre and it wouldn't do anything. So he ends on this, of course, not Vishuda bouncing the Nibiru to hand. There's no reason to do that. So he ends with Monk and a Chalice. So that is not very great versus what we have here. I'm going to start my turn. We draw Prosperity, which is just amazing because it's the best card in my deck on the top 3 or 6 cards. The token is pretty small, I believe, or it's not really a threat to this deck because we can make seals. I special the Pankratops, and he admits defeat here. I think it's a little bit of an early admit defeat. He doesn't know what's in my hand. Besides his Pankratops, I could have nothing. But in actuality, I did think we just win the game dramatically here. I mean, we have Pankratops, go battle phase, swing at Monk, and then pop back row in battle phase as well. This turns off any blackout he has. We have normal summon Kitchen, add Chamber, dump Chamber, special Nocto, make seals, get a draw. We have Twin Twisters, which is just a great draw there. We still would have a Nibiru on field, which is amazing. And that's not even counting Prosperity, finding an even better extender like Hospitality, because then we can dump Chamber off of the Kitchen, special back with the Hospitality, and then go grab Tidying as well. I think we just had too much pressure there for him anyways when he only has Tai Yi. I mean, Seals takes care of Tai Yi there, but he does have a Vishuda. So maybe it was a little early. I do think in the end there's no great draw in his deck that he could have, and we would win this game. So that is going to wrap it up. I do think it was a great game overall. We hit each other with the GGs. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this game. I think it was a good game. It really showed a lot of, back and forth and what Dragonmaid can do and what Swordsoul can do. So hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like down below. If you are enjoying the dueling book content, consider subscribing, like the video. It really helps us out what we do here. And yeah, this has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.